Spain, Norway and Ireland have today formally recognised a Palestinian state. Those countries saying it is a step towards a two-state solution to the conflict. They're calling now on other allies to follow suit.
It's now one of a few countries in the West to officially recognise Palestinian statehood, a landmark move Spain says is essential.
The recognition of the state of Palestine is not only a matter of historical justice with the legitimate aspirations of the Palestine people, but it is also an imperative need to achieve peace.
It comes nearly a week after Spain, Norway and Ireland decided to all recognise an independent Palestine. A step that triggered uproar from Israel's far-right government, with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu describing the move as a reward to Hamas after several months of war. The Jewish state also recalled its ambassadors from the three countries and blocked Spain from providing consular services to Palestinians in the West Bank. Israel is accusing Madrid of helping Hamas, an allegation it fervently denies.
The recognition of Palestine is not against anyone, least of all Israel. This decision reflects our absolute rejection of Hamas, a terrorist organization who is against the two-state solution.
Spain now joins more than 140 countries to recognize Palestine, including most of the global south, Russia, China and India. While no major Western powers has done so, Madrid wants to encourage neighbouring countries to follow suit. Britain, Australia and EU members Malta and Slovenia have all signalled that they could join, while France says it's not the right time to make the move. Palestinian officials see recognition as a crucial step towards a long-term resolution to the conflict with Israel. They also believe it will bolster a future administration for the occupied West Bank and Gaza.
Well, to discuss the recognition by Norway, Spain and Ireland today of a Palestinian state, I'm very pleased to welcome to the programme Majed Bamya. He's the Deputy Palestinian Ambassador to the United Nations. He joins us live now from New York. Hello to you, sir. First of all, just briefly tell us your reaction to this news today.
It's an important news. The Palestinian people's existence has been denied by Israel. The Palestinian statehood has been now undermined by Israel for very long. And that's the proper response to say, if you want a two-state solution, there's two states. There's Israel and there's also Palestine. And Palestine needs to be recognized. The Palestinian people have a right to self-determination. They have a right to freedom. And nobody has a veto over this right. And we hope other countries will emulate the move by Spain, Norway and Ireland. Now 147 states around the world have recognized the state of Palestine.
Well, as you say, this is, in the eyes of Spain, Ireland and Norway, a step towards the two-state solution. That is something that your government, the Palestinian Authority government, supports. That's a vision that you have. So my question for you is, what steps now are you taking towards securing a two-state solution? To give you a tangible example, will the Palestinian Authority work in some way to govern Gaza once this war is over?
We want to govern the occupied Palestinian territory to see it as a state freed from Israeli occupation. That, of course, includes the Gaza Strip. But then the priority is a ceasefire, and the entire world is calling for an immediate ceasefire. And what we're seeing is an Israeli military offensive against the order by the International Court of Justice, despite the arrest warrant request by the prosecutor of the ICC, despite the demands of the Security Council and the General Assembly. All of these are enemies of Israel now. All of these are anti-Semites. All of these are saying you cannot commit these crimes. You cannot take an entire civilian population as a target. You cannot destroy the entirety of the Gaza Strip. So Israel is doing everything to not make it possible for us to have an independent, viable Palestinian state and to destroy that perspective and to force Palestinians into displacement or destruction. And that needs to stop.
And you were very clear there at the beginning of your answer that for you, the vision is the Palestinian Authority would at some point govern both the West Bank and Gaza. But look, how much democratic legitimacy does the Palestinian Authority really have? I mean, long before this current war, Palestinians have been waiting for elections. There haven't been elections in the West Bank for, more than 15 years. Mahmoud Abbas, your leader, profoundly unpopular among Palestinians. So do Palestinians really want you to govern the Gaza Strip once this all comes to an end?
There should be Palestinian elections, and Israel should allow them to happen also in Jerusalem. and then we will see what the people want. But that's why you need to provide people with a political horizon. Of course, it is not popular to stand for peace when Israel is committing massacres against your people. Of course, when we speak of the two-state solution, people look, you just shown the ground, people look around them and say how this Palestinian state, now recognized by the entire world, will become seriously independent given the Israeli policies. And we need to provide a response. And part of that response is to hold Israel accountable, to end its impunity so it changes its policies. And then we will see what the Palestinian people believe in and what they want. And they should be able to express that. That's what the right to self-determination means, to be able to decide for themselves.
Right. And as you've spelt out, as I've said as well, you're obviously no supporter of Hamas. You represent the rival government, the Palestinian Authority, based in Ramallah. But I'm interested in what you make of this argument that you and I are only having this conversation today about 3 European countries recognizing a Palestinian state because of Hamas, because of what Hamas has done, because of the attacks on October 7th that triggered this current war in Gaza. They have, whatever you think of Hamas, propelled the Palestinian issue on the world stage in a way that the PA has failed to do for years.
Our role is to represent the rights of the Palestinian people. And we warned for years that if there's no political horizon, no answer, while Israeli colonization is advancing, while the siege of Gaza is advancing, there was a high risk that we would see these kind of explosion and situations happening. And unfortunately, you are right, the international community did not react. But I think what we're seeing today is not in response to the 7th of October. It is in response to what Israel has done since the 7th of October. It's what Israel has done in destroying the entirety of the Gaza Strip, in becoming a government for the settlers and benefiting the settlers, but also in response to our commitment to peace. And I think the announcements were very clear. They are in support of that Palestinian state committed to peace, but that requires Palestinian freedom.
All right, one last question for you. I know you're a French speaker. You appear often on our sister French channel, France 24, in French. And France has said, look, now is not the right time, in their view, to recognise a Palestinian state. France, though, has called for a ceasefire. Where do you think Paris stands today on the Palestine question?
To be fair to the position of France, France voted in favor of our membership to the United Nations, and that was a critical vote in the Security Council and then again in the General Assembly. So we will see where France will stand on these issues. We hope that it will recognize the state of Palestine, that would be in coherence with the historical position of France. And we call on all countries that haven't done so to recognize the state of Palestine immediately, to all states to stop shipping weapons to Israel, to promote peace, to take action against the colonization, and to end this situation in the Gaza Strip, to end this assault against the Palestinian people.
Majed Bamya, the Deputy Palestinian Ambassador to the United Nations, live in New York. Thanks very much.